bit of laying in the floorboard. I don't know if it's because of the cool air blowing down on that floorboard. I don't know, he likes it. So anyway, we've been working around the farm just a little bit this morning, doing a little feed and watering mules and stuff. Nothing real interesting. Just called Brad, he's rolling over there, so I got a few parts, or I got the T-bar. I had a spare T-bar that goes in the back where that deck pop rivets to and holds it up and the spoiler goes to. And I had a box of rivets in the trailer that we needed. I think he started washing. Still kind of aggravated, but nothing to do but fix it and get over it and go back again. So we'll get this monkey off our back somehow, sometime. Just gotta, I guess it's kind of like playing baseball. That's what I did most of my life growing up. Played a little college ball. About all we did, pretty much, me and Brian both, most all our life, besides hunt and work, was play baseball. So I remember them times you get in the slump. You know, baseball, it's kind of a losing, low percentage sport. If you hit the ball 30% of the time, all the time, you can probably play. A lot of times you can play pro ball, so that's not too good. But so this racing's, we want to get our percentage a little better than batting 300, but you know, it's just been that way. I'm gonna call it like that. I'm gonna call it, it's just like a slump in baseball. We just gonna keep stepping up to the plate and swinging the bat and work our way out of it. Brad's got a lot of drive, just like I do, and it eats at him very hard, like it does me. That's why we get along so good. As far as I know, so far we hadn't neither one of us had a crossword. Just like last night, kind of didn't make too many laps, but it's the most laps we made in the mod since we got it. First time we made that, well, besides the little testing night before when we had carburetor problems. Just Brad's he's very sharp on these cars. Most everything he's ever fooled with has been late models. And then I fooled with the open wheels years ago. This street stock deal is completely new, and the open wheel is kind of new from where we used to be, but still a lot the same. So I like Brad's ideas, and we never really not gonna have a crossword about setup or anything. We just kind of work through it. You know, I'm kind of at the point in my life, I worked on these things for a long time and traveled a lot by myself, not used to having help, like especially somebody like Brad. So he's real sharp at watching the car. I'm gonna have to say I'm not the best person to go out there and drive and come back in immediately and tell you what's going on. I have to kind of recap it through my brain quite a bit. But working with Brad and talking through it, that's coming quicker. And he sees some stuff, and I always ask when I come in, what do you think? And he can see a lot of times, like, well, for instance, last night, he thought I was really tight picking up the throttle, and I was. But the more we thought, we was just tight getting in, and I like to pick the throttle up early, so it was really more of an entry problem than center to exit. So we almost late a lot of times when we come back out for the next race in the pits, because we don't just jump on it and make a change. We try to really think about it as we go through it and make the best educated guess. And like the street stock, it's kind of gotten to where it's pretty, we've raced it enough where a lot of times these changes are pretty easy and quick to make. The mod's gonna take just a little bit. It's got a few more working parts on the back than the street stock. It's got a J-bar, a pull bar. The J-bar keeps the car left and right, the rear end left and right in the car, and you can lengthen or shorten it or raise it. You can raise it on each end, and that J-bar does a lot of stuff there. And then you got the pull bar, which is traction, and you can raise it up and down in the front. And then you got your 2-link bars, your drive bars on the bottom that are adjustable. So it's a lot more going on this car than the street stock. Before it's over, you can probably dial the mod in a little quicker, but you can also dial it out a lot quicker. So it's just gonna take, what we normally do on a car like this, and like I used to years ago, I had Dirtworks cars to start with, and then I ended up had Shaw and GRT at the end before I quit. The way I like to do it, especially if you start with a new one like we have on this GRT and been out of it a while, had I kept racing, it would have been a whole different ball game getting a new car. But what we did, GRT and just about anybody you buy a car from will give you a baseline setup. And normally you're gonna have to make some changes to suit your driving style. It'll be pretty close. We was awful tight last night, and we was tight when we was testing at the bull ring. The carburetor just wasn't running right to make the changes we needed to make, because you really didn't know what was going on because the motor was falling on its face. But we set the car just pretty much like GRT said, and then it's just gonna take 3 or 4 nights. Might not take that many. I tell you, the little changes we made last night, I know for sure we had a shot at the win last night, because we'd started 4th, and in the lap and a half or whatever it was, we was passing for 2nd. So I believe we had a real good shot at it. And what we'll do now, we'll get everything fixed back on it, and we'll get it back on the scales and check everything and see it exactly where it's at, and kind of go from there. We figured out last night the brake caliper clamp twisted is what got the brake line, and I'm not sure what's going on. This is another thing that's a little different, and probably should have caught it, but it being so different than what I used to run, I didn't. Back when I used to run, we run the 9-inch forward just like what's under the street stock, and when we put those clamp brackets on for the brackets that hold the caliper on there they clamp around the rear end housing, and what we used to do, you get them set and tack welded where it couldn't twist. And on the left side of this GRT, it's got the bird cage all on it that's locked up, and that caliper bracket on the left side is bolted to it. It won't move. And then on the right side, the bird cage is in a little bit towards the center of the rear end, so it's got the normal steel clamp bracket on it with 2 1/2-inch bolts, and you can tighten the mess out of them. And I think that's what happened. We're gonna have to put us some kind of set screw or drill into the housing just a little bit and tap it and put a bolt in it to keep it from twisting. So this is probably another one of them possibilities that we probably could have stopped. It's just, we thrashed this last week putting it together to make it, and I guess we checked bolts, but when you put a clamp on something like that, it's still got a chance to spin. So I don't know, just can't get the monkey off our back. I'm gonna quit whining about it. We're gonna do like you do in baseball. We're gonna step up back up to the plate and swing away, and Slump. But anyway, I'm headed over to the speed shop, got a few parts. I know Brad started washing, and we might try to go ahead and knock this sheet metal work out of the way today and kind of get it off our mind where we can go back to working on the car. Alright, we got the back deck out. I just took the T-bar off across here. This is what the deck bolts to and the spoiler. This is what happened. This bracket right here is just clamped on the rear end. I should have knew better. Years ago I used to weld them. We're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna put a screw, tap it or something where it don't spin, but it when I hit the brakes it spun. And I don't even know if it busted yeah, it may have busted the brake line. But anyway, I'll show y'all how this other side's going. The other side, it doesn't have quite as much room, and it's built to lock on the bird cage with saw lock, but we will fix it. Alright, so we got the back 3 pieces of the deck out. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna lay it on this metal table and beat it out flat where we'll have some patterns to go by. Make this thing a little bit easier. This is something we shouldn't be doing today. What? We are. Gotta get a drill and missed a rim. Didn't tell y'all, the track owner came over after the race and apologized for his tractor driver, and he said he would take care of this damage, so I thought that was good of him. Alright y'all, Pete's taking him a nap. We are headed back to the farm. Got the mod cleaned up. Got the deck drilled off. Got it beat flat to make us some patterns. Have to make us a little parts list to order tomorrow. We did kind of figure out what went on with the brake caliper. We're gonna have to drill that bracket and tap it. We put a bolt in it in the rear end to keep it from spinning. Should have already been done. Just one of them things that didn't happen. But anyway, one more thing too. Pulled a couple of spark plugs out of the motor. It's still running just a little bit lean, so it may have been a blessing that we didn't get to make too many laps where we didn't burn a piston. So we still got just a little fuel problem, not near as bad as it was. This 2-barrel deal, like I said, it's new to me, and the type of fuel we're running, this E85, is a little different than what the engine builders used to running, so it's kind of a little trial and error with all of us, but we'll get it worked out. It's a lot better than it was when we tested, so getting closer with everything. Just got to get all